Okay, so good morning. It is Sunday, May the 10th, 2026, and I just did like a series of videos. Goodness, the ones with the individual walking up the hill, and I think the one was forward movement up the hill. So that was oh goodness, I think I did the follow-ups to the granular details, and that was a follow-up of goodness, I think the initial video was feeling stuck, and I talked about how you can, you know, um, get a thought in your mind, and then, like in a moment, you feel stuck. You feel like your life is now lacking purpose, um, and that you're uh, caught up in a tailspin. And then I shared the second video I shared, or was the second or third video I shared about the example of. Uh, the thing that happened when I remember like way back when with seeing my friend in the parking lot. He was getting out of his truck, and I yeah, I didn't have this word at the time, but I was jealous of him, and jealous of what he had. And it was like a snowball rolling down a hill. I had just one singular thought turned into multiple thoughts, and then multiple assumptions and suppositions, and or presuppositions, and then all of a sudden, instantly, I felt like a major disconnect between him and myself, and then also myself and myself, or myself and you know, um, the version of me. I actually don't even like using the word version. The um, evolution of me that I'd always thought I would mature into, and then I expanded upon that, and I talked about how I actually realized I was virtually a phony in many areas. I would say that I would do this and say I would do that, and I'd start out very strong, and then I'd peter off, and I wouldn't complete what I started out to do, and I wouldn't apply for the jobs I said I desired to be at. Yet I still want to complain and to virtually feel sorry for myself, and just how wrong that was. And but so many major learning lessons, and I don't think I added this to that video, but the major learning lesson of that was um, primarily found in God humbling my heart and revealing to me that goodness, I'm the one that's wrong. The problem's with me, it's not with others. And then these thoughts that I'm permitting in my mind, like they're conducive to emotions and feelings that don't necessarily align with reality, but rather they align with a version of reality that I was trying to sell and then purchase myself to, to make me feel like virtually to provide excuses for myself. And so anyway, so I was walking to do some writing yesterday, and I was talking about the granular details. And I was thinking this morning, I'm actually just waiting for my phone to charge before I take off. I'm going to do another stint of writing, and and I was just thinking, oh, I would like to expand or elaborate on what I was talking about yesterday. It's a wonderful time, and it's no better time than the present. And I was thinking I can even just do like a quick video and just talk about like just some of the granular details. And then I was just thinking, oh, sorry, it looks like I cut off that video there or I paused it by accident, so I'm not sure um, where it stopped. And I was just talking about how I was going to do a quick video to expand upon or elaborate on the like granular details I was talking about. And um, yeah, oh goodness, I'm trying to think back to where I could have stopped. But anyhow, I think that'll catch you up. And then I talked about a friend, childhood friend that I was talking to recently. We're having a very candid conversation. So he went back to school in his adult years, and he was just saying how he's learned so much. Like he's virtually said he's humbled himself now, and he just realizes not only the importance of school, but of doing very well in school. and learning as much as he can. And because whatever he learns there, that's what he's going to apply when he's on the job, and that's going to be the foundation for him on the job. And he's just saying how like um, it's just a whole new frame of thought, whereas before he always thought that he was very studious and always thought that he had work as school priority, but he realizes now that he was a little more involved in like the social aspect of school. He didn't really take it as seriously as he says he would have. And but anyways, but he said this really stuck out in my mind. As he said, like I now realize that mastery is based on millimeters and not miles. And and then in my mind, I corrected. I was like millimeters and not kilometers to keep it consistent. But I understand that he chose to alliterate, and yeah, and that's the path he's sticking with, the convention he's sticking with, and I think that's that's equally wonderful. But anyways, so that actually that's a perfect segue into this thought that I have here, and just it's not even just the thought, just I think these things are very fruitful to talk about, but yeah, the granular details and the consistency of the granular details, and it's so evident in everything. It's ubiquitous, it's foundational, um, and but I think maybe I'll just use like working out as an example. I think everybody who's worked out and who's worked out consistently um, will understand this. And those that of you that haven't, yeah, just commit to working out. It's whatever your body can handle at this moment. So even if it's just walking every day, or a light jog every day, or push-ups, do whatever you can, and then you're like it's the truth in this is as I mentioned, it's ubiquitous, and it's like it's found in everything that we do. And so then you're understanding it experientially, and then when I'm speaking, um, and when others are speaking, it'll act as like kind of like road signs or landmarks as you're on a journey, and you see them, you're say, oh yeah, I remember that person was talking about that, and I'm seeing them now too. So it's that creates like a commonality, and you know um, an intersection of like what you're hearing and what you're experiencing, and then it develops that deeper level of not only trust but just communication for what communication truly is. And anyways, so with working out, um, I find it's like I'll just talk about one of the major mistakes that I used to make, which would be the lack of consistency and also like judging others. So I would look at others and I think, oh my goodness, that guy's got really big, strong arms, and he's curling like 80 pounds, and oh my goodness, I want to be able to do that. So first and foremost, it's a false comparison. Um, I'm comparing where I desire to be based off where somebody else is. Um, that is actually a really terrible way to virtually to sink yourself and to make yourself feel like you're smaller than others, and then in that vision or in that perspective you feel inadequate, and it's very, very dangerous. So I've learned to cast those thoughts down. So if they try to come up, I cast them down, but I can also diffuse them or disarm them by getting to the root of them. So the root would be, wait a second, why would I compare myself to somebody else? Like this is they have a different ceiling of potential. They're working with a different body. They're at a different age. They're at a different point in their journey, and um, if I desire to be where somebody else is, I should pay attention to the routines that they've established and that they commit to. I should pay attention to the sacrifices that they make. I should pay attention to the hardships that they've endured. To look at like I'd like to say finished result, but it's not a finished result. It's actually they're still just a work in progress. But like the snapshot of you know their current work in progress. Um, you know, it's wise for me to understand that they got there step by step, or as my friend said, millimeter by millimeter. And it's important to ask the probing or the questions that will probe, uh, and extract that information as to like what does the millimeter by millimeter look like. And what I found is, when you're looking at others and you're trying to live up to the standard other people have, um, oftentimes you start using weight that is much too heavy. And if you use weight that's much too heavy, you're going to overcompensate. And you start like, so in this example or illustration, if you're doing curls, you start to swing from your lower back. Um, you start to swing the weight up. And um, so, first and foremost, you're more prone to injury. Um, Secondly, you're like ensuring that you're not getting the most out of that routine. So you're using a lot more momentum and a lot less of your muscles. So like the ripping of your muscles is less prone to happen. And thirdly, and actually this one might be the most important. They're probably all very important and they might be at varying degrees of importance, but you're teaching yourself very terrible form, which means that's the form you're going to build off. That's like the template or the blueprint you're going to build off. And if it's improper, if it's inadequate, well, then it's going to be that way with a lot of things, especially if you continue with the curls. And so that's going to limit the potential that you have. Whereas I find humility precedes, the proper observation of what you're doing. And in this case, if you want to work, say, on your biceps, it's wise to talk to somebody who not only reveals like they're where you desire to be, and they reveal that they have that, but they're currently pursuing it with passion and with proper form and with proper knowledge and understanding. And they're humble, so they're not using it to dominate others. They're not using it to be showy, so it's not part of their image. But you know, they actually have like a very grounded reasoning for why they do it, for the health benefits, and it's something that they committed to. And then to talk to them about the like what does it look like day to day. And what I've learned is rather surprising. My initial suspicions or my assumptions, a lot of them were proven wrong when I humbled myself to talk with folks that are humbled, folks that are humble. And what I learned is it actually has a lot less to do with the like going to the gym and the physical movements of weightlifting, and a lot more to do with the proper diet, with feeding your body exactly what it needs to produce the results that you desire. Has a lot more to do with rest and understanding like when your body is can give a little more, and pushing your body to past that threshold or into that threshold that it exceeds past comfort, and then also when to rest your body and how long to rest your body. But it also has a lot to do with learning proper form, so you're activating the proper muscles, and you're starting off with lighter weight, doing better form, and so your stabilizer muscles and like everything is being strengthened, and you're less prone for injury. And so anyway, so I think I'm gonna end there. And but with that, like it's what my friend said, it holds true. It's mastery is determined in millimeters as opposed to miles. And that's so there's so much truth to that. And I find that the sooner we can come into agreement with truth, the better it is for us. And um, the more growth we're going to see. It comes slower. The growth is much more slow. It's not overnight, but with a repetition, consistency, teamed with in agreement with like very thorough and proper knowledge and understanding, and the application of that proper knowledge and understanding, you'll find that growth will happen incrementally. So anyway, so this is part of the granular details of forward motion. And oh, it's so important. And I find when you focus on these granular details, you're less prone to focus on the things that you don't have, and then fall into that trap of despair, as opposed to focusing on these granular details, and then you know, coming into agreement with this state of gratitude where you're just